We're
time,
back.
Jay, or I'm on time.
Yeah, this
right?
is this the first time we've recorded on time and on day in like what 3 or 4 weeks now?
At
A
least,
little
right?
over
At
a month.
least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
for sure.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just change it so you can see me. Funny enough, Jay, my house is actually in more order, hence us being able to record on time. And yet my environment, my direct environment, looks worse and worse every week. I mean, that is actually a small Christmas tree.
Oh,
A
okay.
wooden Christmas tree, yeah.
That wasn't there
What were you going to
before,
say?
was it?
Something? No. That's what I mean.
And there's like
It's growing.
a plant there now.
Yeah. So there's a
Wasn't
plant
there? There was
behind
an
it.
ironing board there last week.
There was an island board there. It has been moved.
The ironing board's gone. That should be like a thing. You should like swap out an item in the background every week.
Like Phil Spencer.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so.
Oh, by the way, we're bringing Banjo Kazooie back. Didn't you see it on my bookcase? Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm alright, yeah. I feel like I'm in the middle of quite a scramble of like just gaming, I guess.
Sure.
Like there's
Like,
just
a
so
lot
much,
going
like
on.
February and March is just such a busy time of the year for games, you know?
Yeah, it is now for sure.
Like
right?
there's just so much going on, like just so
Like
much,
I feel
so
like
much
since
news.
2017. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. Go on.
I was just gonna say since like 2017 and Horizon and Zelda, I feel like it's just been every February. It's just been.
Yeah, February is sort of like the new November, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Like February and November is just when all the games come out. And I feel like July and September tend to be quite game heavy too, depending. It shifts, doesn't it, depending on what's happening.
Yeah, we get like a few peaks, right? Like early year, then mid year, then late year. But what were you gonna say? Sorry. In terms, so you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, just I'm actually surprised. I think this is the longest I've been able to maintain playing games all the time in like years. I've always felt like I've needed to take a break every like couple of months, but I haven't taken a break in a while.
But you have taken a console break, right? You just haven't taken a mobile game break, right?
No, I mean, well, if I'm not on console, I'm on my Switch, and if I'm not on my Switch or my console, I'm on my phone. If I'm not on any of those, that's when I'm taking a break. So yes, I guess so. And I feel like I've done at least one of those. I really want to watch like a bunch of movies and TV shows and read some manga, but I'm busy.
Sure.
If that's a problem to have, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, which is an interesting problem to have. Yeah.
Well, like I assume while you would like to do so, I assume you're always doing the thing that you most want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
like
guess so.
like I want to watch Prisoners on Netflix, but I would probably rather play a game. You know
Oh, I
what I mean?
see. Yeah, no, I'm still doing that thing where like I'll do something when the mood hits me.
Right.
Like I can't think to myself, oh, I'm definitely going to play this week. Even like if I say that and I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to end up playing that thing. I just have to be in that mood. Like, oh, literally, I remember being at work the other day and like middle of the day, like 11 a.m. I was like, oh, I'm in the mood for that now. And then that was it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go play that. And that's what I did that night. I went to go play a different game. I was like, okay, cool. My brain is so weird when it comes to like being in the mood for games and TV shows and stuff. Thing is, though, I can have that same thought and then by the end of the day be like, nah, I'm not in the mood anymore.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a while since I've had that, though. It's been a very long time since I've had that particular instance.
But when the mood comes and you play the right game, it's like the best, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that is when it's more fun. Like you actually feel like your brain's getting excited about wanting to do that thing rather than just like, oh, I need to I need to do this so I'm not bored. Like it's been a while since I've been bored and then been like, well, I just force myself to play something or watch something, you know. So I'm happy that I'm still going. I'm actually kind of surprised. I feel like I'm somewhat mentally drained, but not enough to like stop. I don't think.
Well, I assume you've got a lot to talk about this week, Jay. Most of which I don't think I know about, but we'll find out.
So much to talk about.
But before we get there, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Game Opinion, otherwise known as a video game podcast, where you the listener listens to us, the speakers, recorders,
hosts,
podcasters,
peeps,
hosts, men, nerds,
boys,
so we'll
children.
You what?
Boys, children.
So we'll talk about games we're playing. We'll talk about games that have been announced.
We want to
games
play.
that are coming out. Games we want to play, but
games we won't play.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Games we sometimes want to play.
Yeah, but not always.
But not always.
In and out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this week we've got a lot to talk about, I reckon.
Oh, God.
This is the first time we're back on schedule, so to speak, as Jay said at the beginning of the podcast. So I'm hoping moving forward we've got a bit more regiment here. But yeah, we've got a kitchen now, so there's that.
Kitchen
so
acquired.
That is a huge influence.
Yay.
Achievement unlocked. So without further ado, oh, by the way, that's Jay, I'm Nick. We're the hosts.
Goldilocks Night Owl.
It's true. It's true.
AKA.
Jay, I'm losing the night owl symbol because even though like I might message you at like 11, I'm really struggling to stay up past 11 now.
Oh,
like
okay.
I can maybe reach 12 because my new work and my new sleep cycle means I have to get up.
I feel like we've probably swapped then. Because I'm finding it hard. Yeah, I've been staying up till like midnight the last week or two. And actually, when was it? No, I think it was Tuesday night. But 7 p.m. I was just conked out until 11 p.m. So I slept for 4 hours from 7 to 11. Stayed up for 4 hours, watched like a couple of YouTube videos, and then went back to sleep about 2:30. And then woke up at 6 to go to work. So I slept for 4.
How did you feel?
Stayed up for 4, slept for 4. I felt normal. I don't know. I didn't really feel any different. Just tired, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I would have felt awful.
I've done that a couple times. I've done that. I don't know why. It's just sometimes I need to catch up sooner than I think. You know.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, Jay. Let's dive right into it. So,
Please.
Look, we have an agenda. We've got it all written down and stuff. But where would you like to start? Because Jay's got a lot to talk about this week. I've got a little bit to talk about, but Jay's got a lot to talk about. So, where do you want to start, Jay? Because we usually separate it so you've got your big topic and then your interlude with some smaller stuff, right? But frankly, you've got a lot to discuss. So maybe we should just do a big overarching Jay's games. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. We can do that. Yeah.
Or
sure.
maybe we should begin with POKEPASTURE, just to warm things up.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. I think that's a good place to start. I guess I could start with there was that giveaway again. There was 3 giveaways in a row on the Sunday, and I managed to get all 3 pretty easily and quickly.
Awesome.
So happy about that. So I now have the 3 starters in Alpha and Shiny. That's decent.
That sounds really important.
Yeah, it's just that they're really hard to get if you don't just get them in this giveaway. So
yeah, that's what I mean. No, yeah, they sound like yeah.
And then since this update, the Daybreak update, which I think we spoke about before.
We spoke about it last week on the podcast.
I think so. I think it had come out by that point.
I didn't know if we did, Jay.
Maybe not.
Did we no, we did.
No, we spoke about it because we spoke about Gen 9 and
Scarlet.
Pokemon Day and stuff. Yeah.
Sorry,
so yeah, I played the Daybreak update, and they made it a lot easier to get these shiny alpha Pokemon. And there's actually, hang on, let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this.
He's going for it.
So I have some notes here.
Oh wow!
So a PokeTuber sort of came up with the different ways you can fight a horde of Pokemon in Pokemon Arceus, or they're called mass outbreaks in this. And there's basically like, depending on how many Pokemon are in the mass outbreak, is dependent on how many times you can then battle that mass outbreak differently. So let's say there's 8 Pokemon, and if you catch all 8 and you still don't get a shiny, you can then reset and do it where you battle the first 2 and then catch the rest, and so on and so on. So someone wrote this out, but they didn't do a very good job at giving it to you in a good enough form, so I had to actually physically write it out on paper. Can you see this?
Oh god, okay. Yeah.
So look, catch all, and then you got battle the first 2, catch the rest. Battle the first 3, catch the rest. And the good thing about this is, if there's
just quickly for the audio listeners. So Jay's basically made what I can only describe as a big grid,
just like a cheat sheet, basically. It's like an Excel sheet, but I literally had to write all this down. Like I literally wrote 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way down.
So, and this is to do with the probabilities of getting a shiny, is that right?
Basically, a shiny alpha, and it's a very specific one in my instance, so I'll tell you about it in a second. So if you get 8 Pokemon in the first wave, you can only have 25 different tries, basically, like different ways you can possibly get that Pokemon that you want. If you have 9 Pokemon in the first wave, there's 42 tries that you can try, so different iterations of how to catch and fight each Pokemon. And then if you have 10 in the first wave, there's 79 different ways to do it. Luckily for me, the one that I wanted to get, I got the 10 Pokemon, so I had to be like, right, I now have to do this 79 times. And I'll see how long. As like a maximum. That's as many as I can have before. If I don't get it on the 79th, it's not happening. I've got to start again with a different horde, basically.
Oh my! So what are these horde things? Oh, for this.
Yeah, like mass outbreaks. So there's like you go onto a map, it'll have like a random spawn of like a big group of Pokemon, and if you get a special one, you can have a second wave that will either be alphas or just the evolution version of that Pokemon. But the Pokemon I was trying to get is Spiritomb. Have you heard of Spiritomb before?
No.
Spiritomb is basically like a very fancy, like legendary ghost Pokemon, essentially. It has no evolution, so it's just like a single Pokemon. So every time you go for its massive outbreak, you'll always get alphas, right? So you're guaranteed alphas at least. So you've cut out the middleman on that. So I want you to try and guess how many times I tried out of the 79 until I actually finally got the shiny Alpha Spiritomb.
Okay. Just quickly, I thought most legendary Pokemon can't evolve. Period.
That's a good point. I don't think most of them can. No, but this one is it's like a pseudo legendary. It's like a kind of legendary. Like it's just a rare Pokemon, but it's more rare than rare. It's like in between legendary and rare. It's the in between.
Sure.
You know?
So do all the bird classes legendaries? You know, Articuno.
Yeah, they're legendaries. They're a legendary trio. Some games have legendary trios. There's like all the Regirocks and Registeel and Regice, like those kind of ones.
By the way, Jay, I've never been comfortable with the fact that you can just like accidentally kill a Pokemon or knock it out and just never get it. It's just fucking.
It's tough. It's tough when it happens.
All right, sorry. So back to your question. I reckon 63.
No, I did it in 30, luckily, but it did take me about 6 hours just to do 30.
Oh my god!
So you got to imagine, right? How can you imagine if I hadn't have got it by 30? I'd probably still be doing it now.
Jay, look. I promote.
Hey, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and podcasts while I was doing it, so I still got stuff done.
Mate, no, look, fair play to you. I'm glad you multitasked there. You know what I'm gonna say, don't you? You know what I'm gonna say.
I could have been playing something else.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna BRB because I need to take this off. I'm getting hot.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just not playing it anymore, and then I'll come back to it eventually. Basically, I think that's what I was about to say. I'll come back to it, but I need to have not something. Pokemon is like my resort when there's no console stuff going on.
Yeah.
But there is console stuff.
So has it become like your mobile game, so to speak?
I mean, I'm actually playing my mobile game right now, so I'm just sort of letting it run as we go.
Okay. By the way, you still haven't tried FF7 First Soldier, have you?
No, don't really plan to.
You love mobile games. You love Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I want to play that.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's generalizing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm very picky with my mobile games. Very, very picky.
All right, fair enough. Yes.
So do you want to know what else I'm playing, or what else my thoughts are right now?
Before you do that, Jay, who said I am going to die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy?
Oh, that would have been either Gamora or Nebula. that her name? Gamora? I'm gonna say Gamora.
Dead on. And do you know what's weird, Jay?
Seriously?
Every time you give
God.
me some answers, it's always the two that are highlighted as well.
Oh, there
It's
you go.
really weird.
Well,
really
it definitely had to
weird.
be a female character because there wouldn't be a male character who would say that. And then you said
Right, 'cause that would be
Galaxy, so I
demeaning
thought,
and
right, well, it must be a
sexist, right?
Guardians of the Galaxy character. So
Fair,
Gamora,
fair.
that's like my only, I mean, I
Yeah.
could have said Mantis, but I don't think Mantis would have said that.
Yeah, that's true.
She speaks
true.
in riddles.
Yeah, she does.
Actually, that's true. You haven't
All
come
right,
across
Jay.
Mantis in Guardians yet, have you? You haven't played it all the way.
Do you know what? I think I have. I got to the big city bit.
Oh, okay. Maybe you have come across Mantis.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I've ruined my experience with that game playing it so disjointedly.
Yeah.
I would think I'm on like chapter 7 and I started it like what? December maybe?
Well, I actually kind of want to talk about that. That's a good segue.
Okay.
Disjointed playing, as it were.
Okay, yeah.
I'm currently playing a game
Okay.
that isn't AC. So the AC DLC came out today.
Whoop whoop. Have you
And
got it?
I do,
You got it.
yeah,
You
I have
pre-ordered
it.
didn't you?
It's downloaded. It's ready to go. But I didn't
Okay.
play it today because I kind of want to play. I think I want to start playing it tomorrow night. That's my plan.
Quick question, Jay. Is it a separate download? Like a whole separate download?
No, so you have to just go into managing your DLC and tick it and then download it.
Alright,
So
okay.
it's still
not
part
like
of
a
the main
separate
game.
or anything.
No, not definitely not. It's only about 10 gig. It's not very big.
Alright, okay.
Actually, that's a lie.
Alright.
Was it 16 gig? I think it was 16 gig,
Okay.
which isn't too bad.
I'm still not that bad. Like,
It's about
for
the
an
size
AC,
of one of these podcasts,
quite.
roughly,
quite.
depending.
No, it is genuinely, yeah.
So yeah, I kind of want to get your opinion actually, because you've been doing it a lot on Disjointed Gaming, where you're sort of jumping in and out of a bunch of stuff, and I kind of want to know like, does that ruin the experience depending on the game? Because for me, I'm currently at like a point where I feel like I could quite easily come off the game that I'm currently playing and come back to it after I finished the AC DLC. And that's fairly disjointed because the game I'm currently playing is going to take me probably about 60 to 100 hours to like hit the wall, I'd say.
So, are you wondering whether to start AC at the same time?
No, I think I will. I think I'll get AC out of the way.
Yeah.
It needs to be done before I play Tiny Tina, and then
Yeah.
I reckon I'll definitely get it done before Tiny Tina, and then in the meantime, between me finishing the DLC and Tiny Tina, I'll play this other game that I'm currently playing. Because it is one of those games where I don't need to necessarily like be in it. Like there isn't much story. I mean, there's a lot of story. It's just
Will you finish it before Tina comes out?
What, the DLC or the other game?
No, the other game. Yeah.
No. I mean, I'll get to a pretty good point.
Sure.
I'd like for you to guess what game I'm currently playing. Because it's funny, I've literally just been saying the game I'm playing, and I've kind of been wanting to like lead up to it,
For me,
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
Say 60 hours for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's like 60 to 100 to like if you're good at it,
I assimilate 60 hours with a Souls-like game. Because I actually think they're 20 to 30 hours, but the difficulty makes them 60.
Well,
right?
Technically they're an hour.
All right. If you're a speedrunner.
Yeah, someone's hit 58 minutes, I think.
Oh, okay, fair. So I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
That you fucking bought and dived into Elden Ring.
I did. I certainly did.
Oh.
I've been playing it. I'm currently 8 hours in.
Okay.
And I actually haven't even started, technically.
Okay.
I've beat the first main boss, but I haven't got past that, I don't think.
So did it take you that long to beat one boss?
No, so what I've been doing is I've just sort of like been it's kind of hard to explain. Like when you get in the game, you can do certain things to like boost your power level. Like you can sort of like cheese your way to like a quarter into the game essentially, and like be really powerful, or like powerful enough, but not
More
enough.
powerful,
Not like
right.
Basically just more powerful. But funny thing is, I still feel quite weak.
Sure.
Like I'm level 50 and I still feel weak. In a level 20
How did you
area, I
do
feel
that?
weak.
Is there an exploit?
Not necessarily. It's just that the game is open world, so you can basically go where you want to, just by like running in a certain direction and going where you want to go to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of. I watched a video. This guy said you can get to level 35 in 14 minutes. So I was like, right, I'll try that. So that's what I did. I got to level 35 in 14 minutes.
What is the max level?
719.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Never mind then. Okay.
And I think the highest person with the highest level currently, I think, is like 200 and something. Because I think to get to level 200, you need 20 million runes, which is like the souls, essentially.
Okay.
Like the XP. And I've probably collected, I mean, I'm level 50, so I've probably collected a little over 1 million, maybe, if that. And there are farming spots. I literally, the half an hour or 45 minutes before we started the podcast, I was like, right, I'm just going to farm this spot, see how much I can get. I think I can, every 3 to 4 minutes, I can get like 20,000 runes. So if I do that for half an hour, I can probably get whatever 20,000 times 10 is. It's like 2 mil or something, right? I don't know. I'd have to
right.
calculate it, but yeah, I've got it down now. So I tried to do the exploit
200,000.
slightly earlier, but I wasn't powerful enough. I've finally gotten to the point now where I've like progressed enough to like be fairly powerful. I also kind of want you to guess what kind of build I'm going for, because you might find it a bit odd. This is actually the first time I've wanted to do. That's okay. This is a lie. I've always wanted to do this type of build in a Souls game, but never had the balls to do it.
I honestly don't even know what sort of builds they be, but after what you just said there, I'm gonna say it's a high damage, no armor build.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. It's like a glass cannon mage, essentially. So I think it's like the official name for it is the one-shot mage. So you get to a point where, you know, your armor isn't very great, but your damage output is so insane that you can pretty much, like, you know, not one-shot a boss, but like do a lot of damage. They've really boosted magic in this game, so pretty happy with that.
Let's explore this, Jay. So
yeah.
Is this the game that you were like, I'm in the mood for this, and then you just fucking bought it?
Yeah. Like Tuesday afternoon, I was like, I think I'd saved a speed run, a 2.5 hour speed run of Elden Ring. I was like, I'll watch this. I need to start like studying this game just so I understand how the game works.
Right.
So then I fell asleep halfway through, and then I woke up and watched the rest of it later. So I watched this 2.5 hour speed run. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty decent. And that kind of made me go, oh, I'll buy this tomorrow and I'll play it from now on. So I think since Wednesday, I mean, I've had it since yesterday. And yeah, I just kind of like got in the mood, and I'm very happy I did. I don't know, like I remember being I remember being not in the mood for it at all. Even like on the lead up to the release, I was like, yeah, I just don't want to play this game. But I think since seeing like a couple people like get to a certain point in the game, I'm like, oh, the game is actually pretty amazing, and it kind of made me feel very nostalgic for Dark Souls 2, because I think the guy who worked on Dark Souls 2 worked on a lot of the areas for this game as well, so it kind of like transitions over quite nicely.
Oh, okay.
Very nostalgic. Dark Souls 2 was just like so good at the time.
Oh, you're right, at the time, right?
Yeah. I'm actually, a lot of people are having problems with Elden Ring, but I'm not having any problems necessarily.
So, yeah, let's just talk about the game, Jay.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I do like it a lot. Yeah, it is good. It's very pretty. It's great to have a Souls game beating 60 frames. It's definitely not a constant 60 frames. Tell you that right now.
Oh really?
I'd say it hovers between 30 and 60 a lot. Like if you
for a game like that though, you don't want to be missing a shot because of a frame.
No,
right?
So this is the thing. It doesn't stutter. A lot of people are complaining that the game is stuttering. My game isn't stuttering. It's still smooth. Like there's no like jagged movement. It's just that there are times where you can tell that the frames are dropping, but it doesn't mean that you're like necessarily moving any slower. Like the camera doesn't jutter across the screen as you move. There's no stuttering whatsoever. It literally is like a smooth transition. It just transitions from 60 to like slightly below 60, and then kind of like, but it's still smooth, you know.
Okay.
You'd think there'd be like stuttering, but there isn't in my instance. I think the Series X actually is a lot better for that compared
So
to
it
PS5.
sounds like it basically jumps from either like 30 to 40 to 50 to 60,
I
or
don't think
like
it maybe
rather
goes
than
as
like
low as
dropping
that. I
frames.
think it probably goes like as low as maybe like 40.
40.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've seen a few people test it on Series X and PS5 and stuff, and it doesn't really seem to go much below 40.
So how are you finding the game? Obviously, you've played quite a few of the Souls games.
All of them
How
Sekiro, yeah.
Yeah, apart from yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
how are
beat
you finding
Bloodborne, I
it
beat 2 and 3
compared
and 1.
to the others that you've played?
It's tough. It's a
That
very,
fills me
very
with
hard game.
dread, Jay. That
Okay,
fills me
so
with dread.
it's tough, but because of the build I'm currently using, I've managed to like cheese my way through a lot of boss battles.
Okay.
So like the current build I have one spell where I think it's called Rock Sling, where you summon 3 sort of boulders out of the ground, and then they initially slowly come out, but then they fire out and sort of like home in on one enemy, right? And they can also spread out and hit a bunch of enemies. But if you use that with a summon, you can like summon animals or like a jellyfish or some wolves or something. If you summon those and have the boss sort of be distracted by the summons that you use, and then use this one spell that can like pretty much wipe out most early bosses pretty quick. I'm definitely starting to see the like I did a boss a little while ago and I was like, this is not doing any damage. I need to level up.
Right. Okay.
But I have like no health whatsoever, so I get like pretty much one shot most of the time if I'm not careful.
Oh God.
So I have to be
Okay.
I have to basically what I'm saying is I'm having to become a master at dodging. Let's just say that.
Right. Okay.
Which is what you have to do in most Souls games anyway. So
I've just had a realization, Jay. Okay, so let's say a bit like you've played through Dark Souls 1, 2, 3,
certainly
Bloodborne.
have
You've
completed them all.
finished them, right? Right. Does that mean when From Software tackles another creative project, obviously they all, I mean, look, they do play slightly similar, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's like Fallout. It's the same base, just different levels of it later on.
Right.
Same foundation. Yeah.
How do they? What I'm trying to ask is, how do they then keep the challenge and difficulty for players who are basically pros at their other games? You know what I'm saying? But also keep it accessible enough for a new Souls player. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
It's really tough. I know the answer. I'm just trying to find a way to articulate it. So I'd say the bosses are definitely haven't like I'd say the early game bosses are definitely like much the same. Okay, I'd say the first half of the game is much like every other Souls game. In that bosses don't really have much evolution necessarily. They don't have a lot of like random things that they can do that make the game more challenging. I'd say the second half of the game is where bosses start to like they've sort of like evolved the way bosses work. They sort of like have new moves that you've never seen in other Souls games before. Stuff like that. Like there's definitely like ways you can get around. People have already figured out how to get around most of it anyway. I mean the game's been out 2 weeks now, and I'd say there's probably like people who are masters at this game already. Like there's actually
no doubt.
I think only 250 people have killed one particular boss. It's not even. It's an optional boss. There is an optional boss where only 250 people in the world have completed it.
That fills me with such anxiety, Jay.
It's thing is you literally walk through the fog door and it snipes you instantly. So you've kind of got to like know how to dodge it properly. It's like it's just like I'm not even close to that though.
Oh my god! And the open world. Sorry, I don't think you're finishing your answer.
No, you're good. Go on.
I was just going to say, does the open world... Okay, so for whatever reason, Jay, I've never had quite the excitement behind Elden Ring that other people did, and I'll tell you for why. Part of that reason was because George R.R. Martin was tied to it, and his other creative projects he hasn't finished, right? Like, yes, I know the TV show for Game of Thrones finished, but the books haven't, right? And I'm a bit like, Anyway. And they announced it a bit too early, I think, for my taste. But anyway, and then Sekiro came out, huge hit. Everybody loves it, right? Like changing up their formula a bit. Oh, cool, amazing.
I'd say Sekiro is the most different Souls game out of them all. Elden Ring definitely takes it back to like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Way back.
Okay. And then obviously we get Elden Ring, 3 years later maybe? Because I feel like 2019 was Sekiro. I could be wrong about that. And then
yeah, either 2018 or 2019. Yeah, one of the two.
right, so we've had some time since the last game, and I know, like, if you look at the track record, you're like, well, obviously the next game's going to be pretty good. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But for whatever reason, I just didn't think this game would hit as hard as it is. But it's quite great to see, like, from an outsider's perspective. But long-winded way of saying, Jay.
Yeah.
Do you see why this game is so hyped right now?
Oh yeah, 100%. This game, I think, might become the best Souls game that's ever been.
Really?
I think it's honestly a toss-up. It just depends on what your preference is. I'd say this is probably the Dark Souls game with the Souls game with the most scope. Because it's open world and because there's so much going on, I feel like it's almost changed the game a little bit. Like it's different enough compared to the other 4 or 5, where it's like, oh, this is a whole new game, but it's the same game at the same time.
Right.
I kind of had a similar feeling with Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Like, it is the same game, it's just a very different game at the same, at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other comparisons I could make. But
yeah, because it always, whenever they show the open world and the reveals, not that I play these games, but whenever they showed the reveal, it was always a bit like, oh, okay, so you've done yet another, Breath of the Wild inspired open world, right? You're just putting an open world in a Dark Souls game or vice versa. But it seems a lot more integral than that. It seems very purposeful, this open world design.
Yeah, so the map is kind of like a lot bigger than you think, but also a lot smaller than you think. Like it's so hard to like put into words, really. When I first saw this game, I'd forgotten how big Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 actually get once you like go out of the first area.
Right.
Like, I'd forgotten how big those games were, and the Elden Ring does exactly the same thing. It's like I don't know why I thought this, because I've obviously completed the other games. I don't know. I think I've forgotten so much about the Souls games because they were so long ago. But I literally thought the world map was as big as like almost like just the starting area, but like slightly outside of that. But it's so much bigger than that. It's just like, there's a lot to do, but like I've already gotten to like the 3rd area of like 4 or 5, I think, maybe 6, and that's just by like not traveling that far, really. Like I've literally just traveled in a straight line for like 20 minutes, if that. So I mean, yeah, like, yeah.
Fair. Okay, all right.
Can't really. It's really hard. Like I'm glad that I'm playing it, but my whole point is that I'm kind of going to be playing it very segmentedly over the next. Well, with some new other than stuff I have to talk about potentially next week on, because we're going to have so much to talk about today. I don't think I'm going to be playing Elden Ring again, so I'll be playing it after the AC DLC, but I won't be playing it after that until maybe like end of April. So it'll be a while, because there's stuff that I want to play March and April. So I'm just going to play it. I'm going to play it during the downtime, basically.
Keep us filled in.
Yeah, this will be a very long game that I'm going to come back to all the time. I'll get there eventually.
But you've got my support, unlike Pokemon. No, I'm joking. But
funny.
In answer to your original question, Jay, about segmentation ruining how you play games, because obviously
not necessarily ruining, but like I was just curious about how you felt about it. Did it worsen the experience for you most of the time, or did it make the experience better depending on what the game was? Because I feel like with Elden Ring, I think I'd probably get too burnt out with it if I played it all in one go. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm going to keep coming back to it.
Yeah. This is a really difficult question for me to answer straightforwardly, if I'm honest, Jay.
Me too.
So there's a minute. Sorry, guys. We've both got sore throats. I'm not saying Jay's is worse, right? I'm just.
I mean, coughing, right? I don't know what I've got going on. Yeah.
So here's some of the thoughts that come to my mind when you ask me that question. So the first thought is, sometimes starting a game and then if in a very Goldilocks inspired way, realizing that you might not be in the best mood for it, and then coming back to it is better than playing it when you're not in the mood for it anyway.
Yes, agreed.
So Life is Strange is a prime example at the moment for me, whereby I have genuinely started to go back to it, and I'm in so much of a more mood for that game than I was when I started it. So cool, Goldilocks +1, right?
Approved.
The Goldilocks approved. Then the other thought that comes to my mind is, on the other hand, we obviously have both talked a lot about the whole idea of, just today even, when you're in the mood for a game and you really want to play a game and you're really feeling the game and you're thinking about a game, all you want to do is play the game. And like, I feel like it's also a Goldilocks inspired way to, for lack of a better term, bash out a game in a couple of weeks, right? Or a week or whatever.
Well,
right?
a couple
like
of days
Guardian.
in my instance. I feel like most games I play nowadays, I mean, I'll finish in under 10 days.
Right.
Which is roughly 80 hours. Like, I'd say 80 hours is like my window, or 80 to 100 hours is sort of like my wall, really.
Yeah.
Like most games, if I'm at 100 hours, I'm like, yeah, this is probably a wall right now, depending on the game, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that respect, you think, well, if you're enjoying a game, surely you'd want to kind of play it all the time and not necessarily get it done, but just play it because you want to play it, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got this topic, which is in the middle, right? Which is like, I am enjoying it, and do you know what? This actually does link directly to my topic for this week. But
good segue. Let's go.
So, like, I am enjoying it, but for some reason, I don't necessarily want to bash it out, but I don't want to not play it at all either. And I don't think there's many games that exist in that space, probably, I imagine, because, so let's say Life is Strange, for instance, right? Me and you, again, talk all the time about how I think, like, how we're fairly open about going into a save file we've had for like 60 hours and being like, okay, let me try and fucking figure out what the hell's going on here. Like, what's in my inventory? What is the lore?
That's like one of the first things you do is
to?
you check like the map and your inventory. It's like,
Literally.
where am I?
Can I relearn where I am
exactly.
to keep going?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a lot of some people would just be like, new game, right? So I've completely lost my train of thought, to be honest with you, Jay. Yeah, no, that's gone.
You said it was going to segue into your topic.
Right, and basically, it seems like there are some games where you can almost, so that's what I was going to say. So there's something you go back to, dive right in. So let's say Life is Strange again, for instance, right? If I play that really, really spaced out, frankly, that isn't going to hit me as hard as if I played it in a week.
This is how I feel a little bit about Elden Ring.
Okay.
Like, I feel like there's like a balance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you don't want to space it out for a year.
No.
But you don't want to.
Because I'll get fed up with it if I do it too quickly and if I do it too slowly.
Right.
I have to find the middle ground.
So it's just about, I guess it is just about when you get to the evening and you're like, what do I fancy playing today? And like, maybe it's the case that you'll play Elden Ring until you get frustrated or bored with it, and then you'll just swap to.
See, the one thing I am worried about is like this hype doesn't tend to last long. Like that initial like excitement for a game. When you have it, you need to base it. That's part of the reason why I tend to play games fairly quickly, is because I know that my excitement for a game can die out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, what's that like? That example where like my flame like burns bright, but very short.
Yeah.
When it comes to like my gaming, but sometimes, oddly, I've with AC, I guess, like I have a very like medium flame, but it's very long lasting. Like I'll tend to just be very mid, very like calm about my play. Like it'll be very efficient, but it won't be too quick, won't be too slow. But yeah, in terms of mood, it tends to just like not stick around that long. I am a little bit worried that there's gonna be a day. Actually, I know it's gonna happen probably like in Tiny Tina where I'm like I just don't want to play. I don't want to play Elden Ring after I finish this. I'm just not gonna be in the mood. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. That I'll just be able to like maintain that, but very unlikely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's all right, Jay.
Yes.
Well, let's continue on. So you've got.
Please.
Okay, we will cover that later.
Just skip some stuff if you think, because I'll talk about the rest. I've still got like so much stuff to talk about. We could literally talk for like 2 or 3 hours, and I probably wouldn't even be done.
So you haven't started AC DLC yet, right?
I haven't, no, but I do plan on playing it over the weekend. That'll be what I'm doing instead of Elden Ring.
Jay, that's a lovely weekend play. I'm jealous
of
you for
tomorrow night is going to be fun because it's going to be the introduction, and then I mean, I think it's supposed. I haven't looked into it enough, but I have a feeling I think it's supposed to be like between 30 and 40 hours, right? So
I think so. I think that's the number I quoted you. Yeah.
I mean I could get, if I played. I mean, I'll get it done by next weekend probably.
Sure.
Like 7 days roughly. So I'll play about 10 hours spread across Monday to Friday next week, and then I'll probably play about 18-ish hours over the weekend. 18, 20. So that's like 30 hours there. So if I'm quick, I can do that. But I'm not like in a rush necessarily. Because as long as it's before the 25th, I'm fine.
And you've also got Outriders on here, which I'm reluctant to bring up, but
I'll just quickly say that I finished it and that I'm not playing anymore. Like the end game, actually the end game's kind of broken just because the matchmaking doesn't work and nobody's really playing it anymore. So it's whatever. I missed my chance to like play it properly, but that's fine. I still had fun. I still had fun finishing it. You know, it's just like basically just like like ticking off the checklist of like, oh, I've done that now. So
right,
I ain't got to worry about Outriders anymore.
Yeah, no, fair.
I got rid of that a while ago. So.
Before we move into what I consider your main topic for the week, Jay, I just want to let you know quickly, because you already know, I made the plunge, ladies and gentlemen. I made the plunge. It was on sale, and I got Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
New patch was out, and I am. So look, we'll obviously do a big old topic.
Yeah, we'll do a proper big one on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a big one at some point.
I feel like
Jay's
I don't know
like big fan.
When's the best time to talk about it with you, because I don't really know at what instance like you'll know where you are with it, if that makes sense. Like I don't know how much you've played it. The last time I checked, I think you'd only put about 2 or so hours in.
Yeah, I'm pretty much at like 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, talk to me when you're at 50, you know.
Oh yeah, no, dude. As far as I'm concerned, like I won't even bother bringing it up to you until I'm like done. You know what I mean? Like, you finished it.
The thing is, you could finish that game and still have like so much left to do.
Oh, dude.
It kind of feels very like Fallout, but actually, it's definitely less than Fallout. Weirdly. I say Fallout's a bigger game.
I was just going to say my very initial thoughts.
We'll go with
pin it out that I have bought it. Don't expect me to finish it anytime soon, people. All right, I've got other stuff on the go, but just letting you know, Jay knows. And my very first initial thoughts, Jay, if I'm honest with you, was, oh my god, I can totally see why this game took so long to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ambitious.
Very.
And you've come in at the point where like the game is a lot better looking than it was.
Really?
Initially, yeah, the game looks. I mean, it's definitely not much different in terms of like look, but in terms of like UI, they've updated all a bunch of like quality of life stuff. They've updated a bunch of stuff on that. So.
Oh, okay.
I'd say it's probably the easiest way to play this game ever that you've come into.
Okay.
Definitely made it a lot more accessible, I'd say.
Yeah, so obviously the whole intro bit. So what was starting to blow me away really was I'm not sure if the intro changes depending on what class you pick or whatever.
It does. Yes, it does. There's 3 different intros. I played them all.
The Nomad, which is like the one where you fix in the car in the garage.
Yes, and the sheriff comes along.
Yeah, so what got me about that? Obviously, so look, look, most of the game is delivering, right? You know, like the voice acting's there and the graphics are there and the gameplay seems to be there. Although I do actually know what you mean, Jay, by the shooting doesn't quite feel right to begin with, but I'm sure it'll
Yeah,
warm
I
up.
mean, I feel like most games nowadays, like, the shooting always feels odd initially, but you know, the muscle memory starts to kick in, and you start to get a bit more accurate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Although there is certain
and
guns where you don't even need to just shoot off to the side, and it, like, you know, like an Atlas
Sure.
from Borderlands.
Sure. And then when you get to the border sort of thing for Night City, so to speak,
Yeah.
I was like, even before I got into Night City, I was like, this game is humongous. There is just so much going on all the time, Jay. Like, there's fucking flying vehicles over there. There's NPCs over there. There's other vehicles over there. There's moving AI. There's animations. There is so
It's
much.
weird how like quickly you get used to all that stuff as well.
Right.
Like, there'll be a day where you don't even notice most of the stuff going on. I don't notice any of that stuff anymore.
Dude,
it's just
honestly,
happening, you know.
Unsurprisingly, for the night out, half the time I'm literally just going around the city, Jay, and just being like, "Look at all these animations.
Yeah,
look at all this stuff." Like,
it's a lot more than you think as well.
I think you said this as well, Jay, but Night City is so impressive.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we've ever had a city like that before. Like, when you look at a building, you're like, I mean, that looks detailed and it looks like someone lives in it. And like, look at that other building and there's signs and stuff and like everything's designed with purpose.
I think
just looks insane.
I want to say most games that you can, or most buildings that you look at, you can go into as well.
Right.
I think it's been a while since I've like really thought about any of that, but yeah, depending on where you are. Yeah, there's quite an open floor plan, I guess, where there's not really a lot of like walls where you can't like, you know, there's a lot of just open doors essentially to walk in and do stuff.
So it's positive for me at the moment, Jay.
Good.
Although I will say I have hit a few bugs already.
Please do tell. I'm curious.
Just small things like Jackie clipped inside a locker for like half a second, and I think another visual glitch happened for a second, but like it wasn't game breaking or anything, but like it did happen, and I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. I've only ever experienced those after the first week of playing the game.
That's crazy.
First week, or like up until the first patch, didn't come across a single visual bug, nothing.
Wow.
Not just nothing. The game was perfect to a degree.
Sure.
But then they went and did surgery and mucked it up.
Fucked it all up.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, so positive for me. I'm really excited to talk to you about it, obviously when I'm finished.
Yeah, I feel like most games, like you'll obviously like you get to the point where you're so used to everything that it's kind of hard to like give an opinion necessarily. You just sort of just sort of more like content with everything at that point, you know.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel with a lot of games.
Like, oh yeah, Jay, what do you think of your car? And you're like, I've used it for like 50 hours. I don't have any thoughts.
I don't really have any. It works, you know. It's annoying that sort of seems to be like the thing now with a lot of games. Like you'll just finish it and be like, yeah, I mean, I played it. It was fun. There's not really much else to say, you know. It's kind of hard sometimes. It's nice when you get one of those nice ones. Right? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like if there's nothing bad to say about it, but also nothing like. I feel like I'm kind of like. I feel like I enjoy a lot of stuff, but it's just hard for me to like need to express it in any particular like exciting way. Like I could come across the best game I've ever played, and I probably wouldn't get that excited about it.
Well, let's just make it official. I mean, we've already talked about a lot of stuff, but anyway. So Jay, main topic I considered for this week for you, Tiny Tina, big gameplay stuff happening.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about this actually, but yeah, sure.
I think we should, right?
There's a lot more details than you think.
Jay, lead me into the forest.
Okay, I'm not sure how much you want to know.
Oh, give it to me all. We
oh really?
Jay,
you're not fussed?
Not fast. What other game
technically it is extremely public, a lot of this information. Like it's so public that they actually like did a. I mean, you might have even seen what's his face from who used to work at IGN. He's in the Kind of Funny. What's his name? Greg.
Greg Miller, yeah,
Miller.
doing the trailer.
He did
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
gameplay thing with a bunch of other content creators or whatever. Yeah, so they basically showed off end game stuff.
Right.
They also showed off all the like the classes and their skill trees and everything. There was also like a demo that a bunch of people got to play, like a very
Jay,
small mission in the game.
sorry, bro. Sorry to interrupt. Can you take us back to the home screen? Because I reckon these transition screens are going to blow your PC up. So, sorry, visual people. You won't be getting different backgrounds this week. We need to have a show, not blow Jay's laptop up. Sorry, Jay. Please carry on.
Yeah, so they showed off like all the basic stuff of like how all the characters work and everything. But recently they showed off end game stuff, like basically the loot, like how to get better loot essentially. They also showed off the first season pass.
Right.
Season Pass 1, I don't know if there's going to be more than one Season Pass. I imagine there will be. But basically there's going to be like 4 bits of DLC content spread across this year, much like Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
And that the first bit of content is going to be in April. So
What?
I think literally 3 weeks after the game comes out, the first DLC comes out.
Bro, surely you're going to have people out there going like, this should be in the game.
So I think the first DLC is actually just like not necessarily like a horde mode, but it's kind of like a different type of dungeon thing. I think it's called the Mirror of Mystery or something.
I thought so you know the Greg Miller trailer you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's weird. So the Greg Miller thing you're talking about is what's already in the game, and it's a thing where you have to fight 3 waves of enemies, a mini boss, 3 more waves of enemies, and then a main boss. And this is like a dungeon you can go through with your like co-op friends or whatever. And if you get to the end, you get massive loot essentially, right? But the maps that you go through are randomized, so you'll get like one map with like these types of enemies and this type of boss, and then the next time you go through that dungeon, it'll be completely different. Like it'll be different enemies, different boss with a different map, and it'll be very rare for you to get the same instances either twice in a row or twice ever. I think they said there's going to be like 50 different versions of the dungeon you can play, something like that. So you could probably do all 50 and get to know how they all work eventually, but it would take you a long time. I think they said it would take 20 to 30 minutes to complete one of these dungeons, right? So you kind of, and you only get, depending on how many players you have, you only get a certain amount of lives. So I think if you do it solo, you get 3 lives. If you do it with 2 people, I think you get 2 lives each. And if you do it with 3 people, you only get 1 life each. Something like that. So you've got to be very careful. Like if one person dies, that's 1 life, and they're just out forever until the end of the dungeon.
Right. Okay. And this is endgame stuff.
This is basically what you do at the end of the game to like farm for better loot, essentially. Other than just killing bosses, right?
Okay, so then let's go back to the season pass stuff then. So that's quite shocking, obviously. Well, great that we're getting consistent releases, right? Like it sounds like they're so heavy. Like it's not a case of they'll come out when they're ready. Like it sounds like that. They're underway. What are your thoughts on the season pass then?
Yeah, I mean they obviously haven't said too much about what they're gonna do. I think the most we know is that they're doing 4. I want to say it was 4 lots of DLC across the year. The first DLC thing, like I said, is like mirror mystery thing, right? Have you seen anything about this or not?
I don't. No. Do you know what? I haven't watched the trailer yet. I haven't watched the trailer yet.
Yeah. So, they did say that there's going to be a new class, 7th class.
So I thought you were going to say that you said there was going to be like 7 or 8 anyway.
No, so there's 6 currently.
Right, okay,
there's going to be another class, and you do know
in season pass or
in the season pass, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I think the only way you can attain this particular class is through the season pass. Okay. Do you know about multi-classing?
No.
Right. So this is going to blow your mind. So the reason why there's so many classes is because you can have 2 classes. You can have a main class and a subclass, much like in D&D or in some RPGs.
Yeah, yeah.
So what will happen is, and also I don't know if you know this, but how many skill trees does a character have in Borderlands?
3 usually, 3 or 4.
Okay, how many do they have in Wonderlands? Do you think?
If there's 2 classes, 6.
No, so each class only has 1 skill tree. So if you have 2 classes, you'll then have the 2 skill trees.
But are those skill trees a lot bigger, or?
No, they're about the same as the size of one from the last lot of Borderlands.
So I can't imagine you're too happy about that.
I mean, I'm kind of a bit bummed, yeah, but I think it definitely they've sort of gone with this whole idea of like mixing and matching different subclasses and main classes. Because some classes benefit more from being with other classes than others, if that makes sense. Like,
so like it's not a case of they will sort of mix and match. There will be crossover.
Yeah, there'll be enough levels where you can max out both skill trees, I think.
Oh, sure, but I was thinking more just like generally speaking that they will cross, like different skills will cross with different classes.
Yeah, so like one example I can give is the Spore Warden, which is like the bow and arrow, mushroomy type, nature type character, who has like a pet mushroom. And then I think the Graveborn has like a lich, like a demon lich, with like this like floating head demon looking thing. And those two are supposed to be like the main pet classes of the game, and a lot of their skills on each of their skill trees mesh quite well because they have companion damage that like goes back and forth depending on like what you're doing essentially. So you kind of have to like know what the skill trees are and try to find the best combination of two classes to like benefit from each other. And they're saying that it doesn't matter which one you pick, that you basically are like a two-class character. So even though you have a subclass, it'll still count as basically having two classes, main classes mixed together. Like there's no like advantage to picking one over the other first, essentially.
Right. Okay.
It just means you get to play one sooner.
But...
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, depending on which one you want to play first is the one you should pick, I think.
So do you know exactly which classes and characters?
No, I haven't looked into it enough. It's weird. The Graveborn one was the one I spoke to you about before, didn't I? About like the health and everything. Like using health as like a mana resource essentially.
Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of like going off that a little bit. I'm kind of going more towards some other stuff now.
I think I've asked you this question before.
I still don't know.
Jay. I think I've asked you this question before, but what do you do when you do all this research and then you start playing it? You're like, oh my god, this class doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that in this instance. I'm definitely going to have to do some really heavy research. I think what will happen is there's quite a few Borderlands specific YouTube people who I follow, and what I'll do is I reckon before the game comes out they'll have played it slightly early, and they'll probably have found out what builds work quite nicely, and I'll try to find the one I like, and then I'll just stick with that, I think.
Okay.
And just hope that it doesn't suck. I feel like it's going to be hard for it not to suck. I'm just debating on whether I want to be more spell orientated, melee orientated, or gun orientated. Because I think all the classes are fairly gun orientated. It just depends on what else you want to use.
Right.
Alongside it, you know.
But it's difficult to judge, right? Because like maybe a lot of the enemies aren't meleeable, or they are meleeable.
Well,
you know what I mean?
there's there's definitely they've gotten around that. There are ways they've gotten around that. Yeah, there's definitely like they've done. I mean, the melee is different in this. You know how you have to when you melee in old Borderlands games, it's just like you click once and that's all you can melee. It takes a while for it to like come back. In this, you can hold down the melee button and it'll constantly swing. And there's also different attack speeds as well. So there's like certain weapons that go really fast, and other ones that go really slow and do more damage.
Dude, you know what? When I started watching the big gameplay overview trailer, which we'll discuss in a second, dude, so I started watching that, right? And we know that it went gold like really early, right, for this sort of game.
Very early, yeah.
And like
beginning of February.
Literally, I love Borderlands. You love Borderlands, and I think we were always like, oh, you know, Wonderlands will be a game for me and you to play. We'll just, you know, just a good time, just a reliable game, right? And actually, Jay, I don't mean this in a harsh way, but this game is shaping up to be looking really fucking good, you know? Because like the first couple of trailers were a bit like, oh, I can't really see what the game's like, and then we got a bigger reveal and a bigger reveal. And honestly, Jay, by the time I watched the gameplay, I was like, this game's going to be really fucking good. You know what I mean?
I do. I'm kind of like, I was on the fence for a minute. When I first saw the gameplay, I was like, oh, this doesn't look very good.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't initially very happy with it. It has grown on me a lot, but apparently the UI isn't going to be exactly how we've been seeing it in the recent things. I'm hoping they do change a bit of it. A lot of it looks quite plain to me. Like there's some
Sure.
of it that's obviously like very stylized, but some of it looks really like basic and kind of like not fun looking.
What, the actual game?
So some of the UI just like really doesn't sit right with me.
But
It's really hard to
what I
explain,
thought
but it looks very dull in some places. I feel like Borderlands has
what
always
I
been
thought
very colourful, but this is like the dull version of Borderlands.
right. I thought you would. They basically have like I know they announced this, but they basically really show off the whole like D&D map thing, which I thought you were gonna love. To be fair,
I haven't actually
because you talked
seen the
about that,
D&D
right?
map properly. I don't think.
Have we not? I thought it was in the most recent. No,
I mean, I've seen the Overworld thing, but I don't think I've actually
that is that right?
Yeah,
That
but
is
I
that
don't think
right?
I've seen like enough of it to like know exactly how it looks.
Sure.
Yeah, I have to see more into that.
I So did you think the game? So apart from the UI, did you have any other concerns? Like, did you think the gameplay looked a bit static, looked a bit too Borderlandsy, or?
I've always had an issue with One of the things I've always had an issue with Borderlands is that there's definitely times where the game feels like really boring. Like there's like a when you're in the middle of a map and you've still got halfway to go and you've already done most of it. It's kind of like, why is it so quiet?
Mm.
Do you ever get that in Borderlands? Like it's just so like dead. There isn't really much going on. You feel like you're the only one there, which kind of is obviously true. And I have a feeling that Wonderlands is probably going to be much the same. But for some reason, like in my head, I want it to be very lively and there's a lot going on. But
Lots, yeah, 100%.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think it got better with Borderlands 3. Like we had the big cities and things like that, right?
That's another thing actually. You reminded me. Apparently the loot works slightly different. Like it's not as you're not going to get as many legendaries in this one. Like you're still going to get a lot. There's like other ways to get them versus like Borderlands 2 was really hard to get legendaries in. Borderlands 3 was really easy to get them in. They're sort of like trying to find the middle ground. They're trying to make it a bit more balanced, I think.
What else? What other information would you like to share, Jake? That I don't
In this DLC, this season pass mystery mirror thing, and I also think in the dungeon thing that we spoke about before, there's two new rarities kind of. So what they've done is they've made it so that once you've got like the legendary stuff, they've now got a new type of rarity that you can only get by doing the end game stuff. So I can't remember what the second one was called, but the first one was called chaotic. So there's now a chaotic type rarity, but I think there's like different numbered chaotics. So there's like chaotic 1, 2, 3, and so on. So which you kind of have to like refarm for, but apparently like even the basic stuff is like good enough to use in the higher levels, you know. So I think once you get to like really high damaging and difficult rounds, you'll have to start using these chaotic weapons and armor and stuff. But we still don't know whether it's like a new rarity, like it's going to be like a red type legendary or something, or if it's going to just have like bonus stats on it, like a normal legendary or something. We don't really know. We don't really know what the chaotic part of that means. But after chaotic, there is another one, but I forgot what it's called. I think it's called like primordial, maybe, or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that might be it. Actually, primordial sounds about right. So yeah, there's like the one thing I am surprised about is that they're showing off so much. I mean, we only have got 15 days left until the game comes out, but they're already showing off so much. You know, I kind of have a feeling that that this is like almost like a push to get more pre-orders.
Right.
People will be like, oh, I would pre-order the game if I knew what was going to be in the season pass. Now they showed off the season pass. It's like, oh, I actually wouldn't mind getting the pre-order for this now. So I reckon since they've released this trailer, I reckon the pre-orders have like shot up.
Sure.
I can almost guarantee, because so many people have been looking at it, going, "Oh, I actually know what's in the game now." Makes sense, you know.
Right.
Oh, and they should have a load more cosmetics as well.
Oh, okay. Like guns or like?
No, just like the way you can dress your character. They've made it a lot more, design. They've tried to make it so your character is more of an emphasis on how it looks. And I guess the last thing is that you can character create in this game. There's no like set personality that comes with the class.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, there is, but there isn't like a character. So you know how we had like Mordecai and Brick.
Yeah.
There's no named characters like that. It's just you, but you can make your character look however you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is I'm a bit disappointed about that. I'd have rather just had a character that had a class and that was it, you know. But I can see why they did it. It's because it's like D&D, right? But apparently you can
Yeah.
actually change the personality type of your character now. I think there's like 3 or 4 different to choose from. There's like a more like a nerdy type one, like a really strong warrior type one, and then somewhere in between, something like that. Like a really like comedy driven one, you know. There's honestly so much I've missed, but I can't even remember like most of what there was.
Nah,
there's just so much information that's come out for Tiny Tina recently that I'm just sort of like swimming in it right now.
I think it's good for you because you like to know more about the game. But it's good for me because I don't actually mind finding all this information out for whatever reason.
I'm glad. I literally didn't want to talk about it initially because I was like, Nick probably doesn't want to know all this because he wants to like find out for himself.
Honestly, if I'm honest with you, Jay, it's just one of those games where like Borderlands 3, yeah, I do care about the story. Wonderlands, no, I don't really care about the story. Yeah. And frankly, for me, it was just one of those games where I actually thought, you know what, Jay's approach of knowing more about it before you jump in is going to help me digest this game when I start playing it. Ultimately.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried that you're probably not even going to get to the end game stuff.
Like I will finish
or like you'll get there, but you won't want to like continue like just grinding and doing, you know, dungeons and stuff.
Look, frankly,
I'm sure Jay, you will for like a day or two, and then you'll be like, I'm done.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I wouldn't be able to keep up with you anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
I think you could keep up with me. I just think you haven't really like done it before, so you don't really know what it takes necessarily.
Correct. Also, Jay, if there are achievements related to it, then I'm 100%.
All right, that's how it's going to work. We'll figure that out.
All right,
we'll figure that out. Right. I can almost guarantee there will be achievements to do with the end game stuff. There has to be.
There we go.
They wouldn't put it in if there wasn't. So.
I know what you're saying. Are you okay, Jay? Anything else you want to talk about Tiny Tina wise?
No, I mean, I'm sure there'll be more information soon. I'm sure
just
we'll get
eager to play
stuff.
it, right? I mean, I'm eager to play it. But...
you said you weren't going to play it right away.
No, I said I might not be able to, depending on how finances go this month.
Okay. Well, I tried to take some time off on the day it came out, but I couldn't. So I've taken time off at the beginning of April.
Okay.
So I'll be able to play it normally, like during the work week when it first come out. But I'll have like a good 7 days where I can play it constantly and like get to the end game.
Dude.
Hopefully.
Oh god, yeah, you're gonna bash that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bash it out during that. I mean, I'll have it bashed out before then, but I'll be able to bash it out even more.
By the way, I'm not trying to set your expectations too low here, Jay. But if you look at the development time from Borderlands 2 to 3 or Battleborn to 3, I'm assuming this game won't be as big as Borderlands 3. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly haven't thought about it.
All right, cool. I just don't want you going in thinking this is going to be the biggest Borderlands.
Well, one thing I do know is that the level cap is a lot lower than other ones. The level cap for most Borderlands titles is 50, I think.
Yeah.
I think this one is 40.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's how you know the game's going to be shorter. Yeah, either that or that the game's going to be more spread out. You know, like it's going to take longer to get to each level. I don't know.
True.
From what I've seen of the gameplay,
concise, you know?
the enemies look more like bullet sponges to me.
Well, to be fair, it's not 70 quid retail price, is it, the game?
No, it's 50, 60 or 60?
50, 55?
I think it's 50. I have to double check that, but...
I know what you mean by the bullet sponges also.
Yeah, I saw them trying to defeat enemies, and I was like, these guns aren't doing a lot of damage, I don't understand. And they're dying way too easily. I'm a bit worried this is going to be like Borderlands 2, and this is going to be too difficult to play, and it's going to be unplayable. Borderlands 2 was on the verge. Yeah, like Borderlands 2 at the end game was unplayable. I couldn't play it.
Agreed.
Too difficult. Like, and you didn't get good enough loot to then back it up. It needs to be more balanced. Yeah.
Agreed. Jay, let's move on to the news, and let's let's be efficient because I think we're both about to pass out. Or I'm about to pass out. Jay, by the way, don't worry about transitioning if you already have.
I already have. Yeah.
Oh, I just want your laptop to blow up. That's all.
Okay, I can go back.
Nah, it's up to you, mate. It's up to you. So, Jay, we both got fucked over. All right. So how?
Well, I think people already know what this means. We talk about it a lot.
Right. Here's how it goes. Right. So, I'm like, me and Jay like hook back up. And then I keep telling Jay about all these PS Plus games that keep coming out that I keep fucking buying. And then as soon as I buy them, they come out on PS Plus.
Yeah,
and then it happened with Jay a couple of times.
Scarlet Nexus.
There we are.
Yeah. Literally, what was it, like 2 or 3 months after I bought it? It like came out on Gamepass.
Literally.
So
And
pissed
then
off
the
about it.
one game where Jay buys a brand new and he's like, I'll finish it. He wants to play it brand new. Fair enough, right? That's what you pay the price for.
Look,
Nick
oh,
buys
right,
it on sale.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, no way is this game coming to Game Pass in like in a year, maybe even two. No way is this game coming to Game Pass. Lo and behold,
5 months.
what's this, Jay? 6 months after it comes out? 5 months?
Even less.
Guardians of the Galaxy is on Game
I honestly
Pass.
can't believe it. That's like way too. Well, I think that's part of the reason is because Square Enix is disappointed with it, right?
Right.
Square Enix has said that they're not happy with how it sold. I'm like, it sold fine, trust me. Like, you made your money back. Like, don't worry about it. Jesus Christ,
bro. Yeah, 100%, right? But bro, like, what is this about? No game is. So I messaged Jay, this guy.
You certainly
I
did.
messaged Jay this, right? I'm like, Jay, we've been screwed.
We've been
right? And
had.
he's like, what are you talking about? I like send him the link, and you know it's bad when Jay actually gives a pretty violent response or whatever it was. Right?
Yeah,
He
that's
was
how
just
you know.
like, no fucking way.
The more
And I was like,
expressive
if
the
Jay said
response, the
that,
worse the situation. 100%.
literally, if Jay said that, I'm like, this is fucking bad, right? And like, look, we're happy to support developers, right, and all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
But to me, this basically, as I told Jay when I first told him, no game is safe, Jay. Any game
really
can come to
isn't.
Game Pass, right?
Yeah,
we're
now living in a post Xbox Game Pass apocalypse world where we're now living in no man's land, and anything can happen when it comes to games. Like, if a game comes out a couple months, you know, I mean, we discussed that it might actually, because we've sort of come to the conclusion now where we tend not to buy things day one, obviously depending on the game. But it's actually, it might benefit us in that we might get a free game out of it with Game Pass, you know. So yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts, 100%. We just got to be very careful about what we buy and when. I've definitely found a pattern though. If the game is on sale, and the on sale price seems too low, it's probably going to be on Game Pass soon.
Jay, do you know what game was on sale?
Because the same thing happened with Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus was like 75% off, and I was like, oh sweet, I'll get that. And then like literally 2 months later, I imagine Guardians
you know what game
was the same
was on
thing.
really cheap?
What?
A week ago?
I don't know.
Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't see Cyberpunk coming to Game Pass.
Jay.
I mean, actually thinking about it, it's actually fairly plausible because it's been out a long time, and it would definitely destroy the sales of Cyberpunk on PlayStation. I don't know. It's definitely possible, but I wouldn't get too worried about it.
I already am, but we'll move past it.
I mean, now you own it, right? So I think the plus side is that if you own that game, it does eventually leave. You'll still have it, you know, just in case.
It's true. And to be fair, I am liking it. To be fair, I assume I'm going to get a good bang from a buck there. Right,
I'd say so.
Next
well,
up,
especially at your bloody pace. Jesus Christ! You'll get enough of that. You'll get a bang for $2.
Right, Bioware. This comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN, Jay's favourite name of all time.
Pogs.
Bioware says Dragon Age 4 is right in the middle of production as executive producer departs.
That's quite interesting to know.
This comes from a blog. General Manager Gary McKay gives an update. So I'll hand it to you, Jay. Maybe you can fill me in on this.
Well, I didn't really know too much about the details of it necessarily. I was more like thinking, I wonder how long it's been in development for exactly. Because if we know that number, we can then double that, and that's when we know it's going to be coming out roughly around that time. You know? What's the game been in development for? Like 3 years? 2 years? Maybe since Anthem?
I mean,
it's got to be like 2019, maybe, right? 20, yeah.
2018. Let's say 2018.
Okay, so what are we seeing this game earliest 2024?
Yes, sir.
Like
yes,
at the end of 2024 is the earliest we'll see this game, right?
Yes, sir.
I reckon it'll probably come out like When does Dragon Age usually come out? What time of year? Like
November,
October?
I think
It's got to be the
Inquisition
end of the
came
year,
out
right?
November or so, end of the year, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think actually, weirdly, Elden Ring was the first Souls game to not come out in March.
Ah,
Every other Souls
okay.
game has come out in March. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of games have had like different. They usually have like a similar release month, and then they'll change all of a sudden. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough. It's usually not too drastic though, so we'll see.
So last update we saw of Dragon Age 4, Jay, was
was that trailer, right? Where they showed up a bunch of like very early models of characters or something. A lot of concept art.
We did discuss a brief story where they just said they came out and they just said, look, development's going well, like a few weeks ago. So look, I know a lot of the gaming media outlets, they like to fucking get on a hype train when someone quits, right? And they're like, oh god, the game's in development hell because someone quit or moved jobs, right? Not always the case, and also sometimes true, right? Like Halo Infinite, looking back, does seem to have entered some sort of development troubles following the creator leaving. So I get that, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know, Jay. Like, is this enough for us to be like, Dragon Age 4 might be in trouble? I don't really know. I guess we'll just see what the updates are like moving forward, right?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it being in trouble. It's definitely going to come out. It's just that I'm not really that excited about it right now. Like I've sort of had my fill of Dragon Age. I put so much time into Dragon Age 1 and 2 that I'm just like, I'm done, I think. I feel like Dragon Age is sort of in that. There's like a list of games where I'm just like done with them now, and it's like Gears. I think Dragon Age is in there. Halo, I think, is probably in there. Like, there's just some games that I won't ever go back to, I don't think. Halo, Dragon Age 4 would have to like blow my mind for me to like ever think about going back to it. It would have to be so different.
I've forgotten the most important part. My most important part of the show this week, Jay.
Oh, okay.
On the point you've just made.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. You've probably been like, Nick, why haven't you told us about this? Because obviously you want to know my thoughts on everything, right? I went to Norwich last weekend.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
Jesus, yeah.
I picked up the Game Boy SP.
I'd forgotten about this.
They are so small, by the way. Hilarious.
And, yeah, I mean, I've got mine over there. That's fair.
And I picked up Pokemon Sapphire Original and Leaf Green Original.
Fog.
And Jay, I actually, believe it or not, whipped out the GameCube. There's a little GameCube thing you can get on the bottom of it, where you can plug in Game Boy games into it.
Very true.
And play it on the TV. So I did that because we had the Game Boy bouncing around, literally. So put Sapphire in.
Wow, I bet that's so fun on a big screen. Yeah.
Dude, it's amazing. I realized also my dad was getting old because he was like, "Oh, you can do that." I was like, "Dad, you bought it. You were the one who was like exclaiming about it."
And I'd love to have one of those. That'd be awesome.
Oh, mate,
you might have to send me a link and see if I can grab one of those.
Yeah, sure. So I plugged it in, Jay, and here's my absolute true thoughts as I was playing it. Oh, cool. This is cool. Yeah, nice. Oh, nostalgia. Music's cool. Plays a little bit funny, like frame rate's dropping a bit, but plays cool.
I haven't even thought about frame rate on a Pokemon game.
Oh my god, dude.
Christ.
Oh well, that's why.
I've never thought about frame rate on a Pokemon game in my life.
And then, pick the Pokemon, the starter Pokemon. I'm like, this game's alright. Like, I'm enjoying it, right? Like, I'm doing the battles. The battles are going fairly quick. They're not too slow, right? And so I get through the little village bit at the start.
Okay, is this Leaf Green? Is this Leaf Green or is this Sapphire? Oh, thank God for that. Okay, good.
And anyway, I get to the Poke Center and I'm like, oh, I remember this theme tune, man. Oh my god! And I'm talking to everyone and I'm just getting hints and shit. I'm like, dude, this game's cool, man. Like, this game is cool. And then I get to Route 103 and I get 3 trainers in and I'm like, fuck, man. I have been there. I have done that. And I cannot see myself putting another 80 hours into this game. Wow, I don't know what it is, bro, but there is an internal clock, just like you with Gears and Halo. and I'm like, bro, I
Yeah,
cannot
I just
play
can't. Like,
another
you almost
Pokemon.
feel
I
like
just can't.
sick thinking about it, right? To a
That's
degree.
it, Jay.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, I get it. I
So
understand.
I tried, Jay. I tried and failed. I'll talk to you about Pokemon all day, but if you were like, Nick, I need you to finish Sapphire, I'd be like, I'm jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, no, I can understand it. I've been through that with Pokemon a couple of times, but I've come out the other side of it. Weirdly, I took long enough of a break to sort of come back, but I don't think there's enough of a length of a break for me to ever want to come back to Gears or Halo or Dragon Age. I'm not sure.
Well, I was gonna say like my break for Pokemon was about 15 years,
I was
mate.
gonna
So
say, yeah, you had a
yeah,
long break and you still don't want to come back. So
I'm
I think
afraid
my
not.
break was only like maybe 3 to 5 years, and yeah,
The only hope I have, Jay, is
yes.
I wonder whether it is because it's a game I've played, not a new Pokemon game.
I was
So
gonna
that
say,
could
yeah,
be a
that
thing.
might be it. I think that's what got me back into it is that it was a whole new experience when I came back. Like it wasn't the same thing I'd already done for thousands of hours at that point. So like it was the same thing, but it wasn't. Much like how Elden Ring is different to Dark Souls 3, or much like how Fallout 4 is different to Fallout 3. Same game, different game. Hard to explain. You get the idea.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
Last up, Jay, on the news type front,
Sure.
State of Play happened yesterday at
Oh
time of
God.
recording for us.
Yeah, I actually watched it live. It was interesting.
Ah, cool. Well, if it's right, Jay, I only had one game I wanted to shout out, and then you can
Me too. It's
shout
probably
out
the
whatever
same
games
game.
you
We'll
want
see.
to. Trek to Yomi.
No, it wasn't that. But
Yomi.
yes, cool. Yeah, no,
Just
we saw that,
really.
didn't we? At E3.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think we did.
It looks
There's
almost. I basically I'm going to call it like a mixture between Limbo and Ghost of Tsushima.
yeah.
That's basically what
For
it is.
sure.
It's basically Limbo if it was like a Ghost game.
I'm actually getting. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Ghost of Tsushima, like, and I was getting obviously Limbo vibes from the black and white, but
Massive
also
Limbo
I was
vibes.
getting a bit of a Soulsy Death's Door vibe from the. It looked like it had that kind of hardcore combat. I don't know. You'd be like, Nick, no, it didn't. I'll be like, it just looked like because there weren't many enemies on screen. It just and the
Okay.
way that the combat looked.
Yeah.
So I think that looks really cool. But that was just it from me, boss man.
Yeah. The one game that stood out was the Capcom game. Is it Exo Primal? Is that what it's
Oh,
called?
Jay, you can't be serious.
Okay, so this game is basically a spiritual successor to Dino Crisis. Do you know what Dino Crisis is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dino Crisis is like, you know that Earth Defense game?
Yeah.
With
Earth
like all
Defense Force?
yeah, with all the ants and the giant spiders and whatever. It's much like that, but like more. There's more to it than that, basically. Like it's that with dinosaurs, but there's a lot more to it than just thousands of enemies spawning, you know. So I think a lot of people are saying that this is Capcom's answer to Anthem, but we're not sure that it's going to be a loot.
Right.
It's not going to be a looter shooter. It's going to be more like an Overwatch meets Earth Defense Force, basically, which is basically what Dino Crisis always has been. So.
Yeah, I got. You still there, bro?
Mhm.
I've got to be honest with you. When I looked at this, I was like, yeah, this could be a JR's game. But obviously, I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, it's like a online live service game. I just can't.
I'm going to keep an eye on
Yeah,
it.
you like the look
Definitely
of
one
it.
I'm keeping an eye on. Yeah, it looks appealing. I like the whole Anthem style of it. So.
Fair play.
It's also
Fair play.
because it's Capcom. It's a similar engine to the Dead Rising thing, in that it's just like hundreds of enemies or like zombies on screen, except it's with dinosaurs
Right.
instead. So it's
Right,
I think it's the RE engine. Yeah, it's the RE engine.
So you're telling me Capcom hasn't got like any games like this out? Like live service, whatever, like.
No, I
games
think
out.
this is it. I mean, I don't think Monster
That's
Hunter
surprising, isn't it?
counts.
I mean, Monster Hunter is,
Yeah, to a degree
live
it
service
counts.
game.
To a degree, it's almost like Destiny but with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say it is.
I get the impression Monster Hunter World is less repetitive than Destiny, but I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the same game. Like you just beat the same enemies over and over again.
Right. Okay.
But it's fun. It's so fun to do.
Was there anything else, Jay, that you want to highlight? I know Stranger of Paradise. You've been keeping an eye on.
From State of Play. Not necessarily. I think part of the reason why State of Play is so appealing is because everyone's still waiting for Final Fantasy news. But I don't think we're going to get that. It's funny. I think someone actually pointed this out. The whole of that State of Play, like I think, like of the 10 games that were shown, like 8 of them were Square Enix games. Like they were pretty much all
bizarre.
Square Enix, but no Final Fantasy, which is fine because I'd rather wait for Final Fantasy. I don't want to see it in any more early stages. I want to see it in like late stage. You know,
we got to get that nice. And
too
polished,
much Final Fantasy is everything in moderation. We've got to have it in instances.
Jay, how are we dealing with 7 Remake Part 2 with 16 here? Like, how are me and you dealing with this, man? Because on the one hand, I'm like, Christ almighty, I need 7 Remake Part 2. On the other hand, we both adore 15, so why wouldn't we adore 16, technically speaking?
Do you know what's weird? I look back at the Final Fantasy saga of last year and the year before. I can't remember exactly when I played them. And I still am blown away that I even ever finished any of those games. Like in my mind, I didn't finish them just because like they're so long and there's so much to do. So I can't really like I can't see myself playing any more Final Fantasies. I can, but I can't at the same time. I think Final Fantasy has a similar it has a similar feeling to the Souls games in that until I start playing it, I have no idea whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. Right. Like whether I'm actually going to finish it, I think is what the idea.
I know what you're saying. Like especially with 16, with a whole new story, characters. Like, do we even know? And the size of the game. Do we even? We don't even know what the game is.
The start of Final Fantasy games is the most appealing part. The end game is where it starts to get like, do I want to keep going? I don't know. There's so much to do. But Final Fantasy games always feel actually smaller than you think. They always tend to be smaller than you think.
That is true. That is true.
They're a lot more accessible nowadays too. I feel like they were harder before.
I reckon they're actually smaller once you dissect them because obviously once you understand.
Yeah, I feel like every game's like that though.
Stuff.
That actually might be my problem with Cyberpunk is that once you sort of dissect it and actually like understand the game, it becomes a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I just want it to be big, you know. Yeah, same with Elden Ring. Like I got a similar thing. I now know how big the game is, so the game now feels smaller.
Yeah.
Such a weird feeling to have, but it's very.
It's like a place, right? Like when you know a place in real life, it feels.
Yeah,
smaller,
that's true.
Right?
Yeah, once you like come to a new city, you think, oh, it's so big, and then you live there, or maybe you like hang out for a week, and you're like, oh, it's actually not that big. Same thing. Yeah, I get it. Same thing.
Just a quick one, Jay. I was so intrigued because I was like, these look like games Jay's gonna fucking love.
Okay.
The Diofield Chronicle and Valkyrie Elysium.
Right. Yeah, Valkyrie Elysium. I know my dad is fairly interested in because I think that got talked about before. What was the other one?
It's called Diofield Chronicle. It was on just before the Valkyrie one in the show.
Can't remember what it looks like. Hang on. Diofield Chronicle.
It's like a very stereotypical term. I think it's sort of turn-based, Final Fantasy 12 inspired combat, Square Enix.
Oh, is that the? Oh, that's a tactics game.
Looks. What people are saying is Final Fantasy Tactics, are they?
No, I don't think it's Final Fantasy. I think it's.
No, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, it's basically Final Fantasy. It's like a modern Final Fantasy Tactics, which I played. I had it on PSP, but I can't play those games. They're too annoying.
Oh my god, Jay! I did the exact same thing. Got Final Fantasy Tactics on PSP.
I still have it somewhere. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it at the time, but then I was like, it quickly got to like, this is boring. I don't understand how people like this kind of game. And then I've seen all those Fire Emblem games do really, really well, and I'm like, how are these games like? Oh, they must just be like the Asian market. It's just like falling in love with it. I just can't play those games. They're so difficult to play.
Me neither. Me neither. We're nearly at the end, Jay. Let's just power through. It's a quick update from me then. What it was actually going to be my main topic, but we've talked a lot. So
yeah, I feel like it's been very heavy me this week, which is fine because I feel like we've had heavy you.
Cool, man.
There's times where it's like you talk most of the time, where I talk most of the time. It's like a good balance to have both. So that's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, look, it's just an update really on actually a game that I think I consider finished. Actually, Jay, I
So you've hit
I'm
the
really
wall.
proud of this.
He's hit the wall, lads.
I completed a run in Hades.
Oh, finally.
All right.
Okay.
How
How did you get there? Did it feel like deserved? I think is a good question.
It did actually. I felt like I was being strategic.
Yeah.
I felt like I was getting better at the game.
What did you feel? Would you say you felt lucky in what you got power up wise, or did you actually like try to go for stuff that you needed to go for?
Well,
it's like a mixture of skill and luck, right?
Yeah, a mixture of skill and luck. So the drops are always going to contribute, but I think I ended up getting quite a high damage orientated build for that run.
Did you feel like you could have done another run and you could have got as far, or
Yeah,
or did it not feel that achievable? Did it feel like it was sort of like a one in a lifetime thing, or?
No, if I'm honest, I actually still had quite a lot of health left when I did it, so I feel like I could definitely do it again.
So basically, you improved past where you thought you were going to get, and which is a good thing. You basically became over leveled, essentially.
Yeah.
In your skill up here, you got good.
So, dude, it felt, I'm just really glad I powered through it, bro. Like, obviously I told you, like, I hit a wall and then hit another wall, and I just turned it on one night and I was like, I'll just do a run, right? I'll just do a run, and then
it just kept
35
going.
minutes later, I'm like, Christ, I've got a good setup here, and then lo and behold, and like minor spoilers for spoilers for Hades, guys. Right, it's been out for a couple of years.
It's been out a long time, actually.
Spoilers for Hades. The last boss is Hades, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, obviously.
And basically, what you do is you get his health down all the way, and then he regenerates it all. So that threw me off so much the first time. Yeah,
that's a good point. You didn't know that.
Got me. No.
So you're telling me you haven't actually watched someone else play through the whole game before you played it?
Correct, sir.
That's dangerous. Because you could have got to that point and then died and been like,
I did.
Had I known, I might have survived.
I did. Yeah, correct.
So
that is exactly what happened. But I enjoyed the twist.
Okay.
In a way.
Yeah, no, I guess that you got a different aspect just by not knowing, I guess.
Look, I'm glad I pushed through it. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with me finishing a run. If I'm honest, Jay, I've uninstalled it because that game does not end. You can be like, oh yeah, you finished like after. Right, exactly. Like, oh, you finished the main story after 10 runs. I'm like, 10 runs? Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's like 10 hours. I'm not doing that. But the game is really, really fun, and I'm glad I finished it. And actually, the story payoff was fair. I think the game. I mean, I actually think the execution.
Voice acting is pretty good in the game.
Oh yeah.
The art style is still amazing, even though it's so simple.
And I think they've done well in the sense of being an indie studio like they are. They've created a game which is ultimately replayable over and over, right?
Yeah, so I feel like so many indie studios have like done so well with games like that.
Right.
Hades, Cuphead. Trying to think. Risk of Rain, I guess, is another one for me.
Cuphead's not a roguelike though.
No, but I'm just talking about like indie stuff, like things that are like to me those three games all feel very similar, in that they've got a very stylized art style. They're all fairly repeatable, and they're all indie, so it's just like they're all in the same vein for me.
Agreed, and yeah, just reporting to the people that I stuck with it, and through the revolution that me and Jay had about difficulty and all that good stuff, I'm glad I finished it, and that's that. And we're moving on. All right,
we're checking off games off of our lists.
Yes, we are.
Just finishing them up,
So Jay, I've got a Guess Who's review, but frankly, because I rushed it at the beginning of this podcast,
I won't worry about it.
I'm not too happy with the quotes I've given, because I think they're actually really hard for you.
Cut it.
We can always skip. Too hard for you.
We can skip.
So let's go straight to. Let's finish the show with a Pixel Perfect, Jay.
Please.
Which I have got ready and willing to go.
Hang on, I've got to find. There it is. Okay.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, for those who haven't played before, we play Pixel Perfect.
You've got to share the screen.
Yes. This is a game where Jay's got a fight. Basically, I've picked, or my production team has pixelated some cover art, and Jay's got to guess the game based on it. Now, it is a visual game. However, he will try and describe it for you audio listeners, and if not, watch the bloody video.
First,
So there is a theme for each week, and this week I am really hoping to catch Jay off guard, if I'm honest with you. So without further ado, Jay, we are at the first game.
well, the first thing I thought was yellow.
Yeah.
Because it is just primarily yellow.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of blue in there, a little bit of brown. I kind of want to say that the brown type thing in the middle left is looks almost like a dog or like an animal, because there's almost like a tongue, I think, there.
Oh yeah.
There's like a bit of pink, which I think is a tongue.
That would make sense, yeah.
God.
Or a cheek, maybe.
I actually think I know what this is. It's just I'm very skeptical. Oh damn! I'm just like a toss up. It's either okay. So I think it could be Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Yeah.
Or a game that's like in the similar type of vein, stroke timeline. So like around the early 2000s.
Right.
Almost like a Jack and Daxter maybe, but maybe not.
Sure.
If I had to guess, I'm going to go Tasmanian Tiger. That's literally my guess. I know it's not, but that's the only thing I can really think of.
It could be.
There's just so much yellow. Like I always thought like Ratchet and Clank, but like
yeah,
he's not that yellow. I don't think.
Do you know what it is?
This is going to bum me out. This is going to really bum me out.
Do you know what it is, yellow, Jay?
Why is it yellow?
Pikachu's yellow because it's Detective Pikachu
my God.
on the Nintendo 3DS.
I've never seen this cover ever.
You are joking.
Never seen it. I've never seen it. Although I got the pink.
Have you? You did, yeah. Have you watched the film, by the way?
I have seen the movie. I did not like it.
Is it? Okay, right, okay. Because there were some people who were like, "Oh, it's a good film." I just don't believe
terrible.
you.
It's terrible.
Right. Okay.
I think that I still genuinely don't know what the consensus is in the Pokemon community. I wasn't a fan. If they make a second one, it'll bum me out. It'll bum me. I don't know. It's Ryan Reynolds was the best thing about it.
All right. Okay. So
Ryan Reynolds.
Let's move on, Jay. Next up,
this is a Switch game. Instantly.
Ooh. He's got the red corner.
Yeah. So there's a red corner. What's weird, the bottom bit almost looks like a very specific Pokemon. There's a Pokemon called Vespiquen, so if anyone knows what Vespiquen is, that's what the bottom part of this game looks like.
With like the orange.
Almost like a triangle. Almost it looks like a cake. So you got the yellow layer, the black layer, then it looks. If you see what Vespiquen, you know exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
There also seems to be something. There's like water in like the middle section potentially, and then there's also trees and a sky.
Yeah.
There's only a few games that are like this. It's either like an Animal Crossing type game, or it's like Harvest Moon. I think is another one. It's like a Nintendo styly game. I don't think Harvest Moon ever came out on Switch though.
No, I don't think so.
The only other game I can think of is like a Terraria type game, but like, if I had to guess, it's an Animal Crossing of some type.
Okay.
That's all I can really say. I'm trying to think of the theme. So the last game was Detective Pikachu. So maybe this is a Pokemon game. This isn't Legends Arceus. Is it Legends Arceus? I mean, I have the cover, but I thought the Legends Arceus cover was a lot darker than that.
James only played it for about 120 fucking hours.
Hang on, look. This is like the wider version of it.
Oh no!
So I don't see that. Doesn't look like that, does it?
You tell me, J boy. You tell me.
No, there's no red anywhere in the middle, so there can't be.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with Animal Crossing.
Okay, is that New Horizons, the Switch one? Is that fair?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I think that's the.
I don't think that this is Animal Crossing, but it's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, actually, no. Hang on. Oh, Stardew Valley. Yeah. Did that come out on Switch?
I think it might have. To be fair,
Stardew Valley is also a very good guess, I imagine, but probably not.
I will take both guesses. They're both wrong, Jay. This is Pokemon Quest.
Oh my god, this bloody game. So Pokemon is the bloody theme. I honestly, again, never seen this cover, but I do know of the game, and people still play this game. I think this game's a mobile game now.
Is it? I don't know what it is, Jay. What is it? Minecraft?
It's kind of like Minecraft Pokemon, yeah. But not. It's just like they've basically just took Pokemon and made them into Minecraft blocks. It's really odd. I still have no idea what the game is. It's just people talk about it, and they spoke about a new update for the game in the week of Pokemon, I think. So.
Oh really?
I think so. Maybe they might have done an update on Twitter or something. But yeah, people do still play this game. I think it is primarily the Asian market though.
Right, okay.
Maybe younger audiences.
Up, Jay.
Very
Last up.
Oh my god. If the theme is Pokemon, oh, okay. No. This is Switch again, though. How is that even possible?
I am happy about this week, because usually Jay gets all three.
Okay, I genuinely have no idea what this looks like. It's just a jumble of colours. There's blues, pinks, browns, and greens.
It's LGBTQ plus friendly.
Why is there a blue bit with a pink bit in the middle of it? I don't understand. There's greenery.
Let's use that. Let's use that noggin, Jay.
This isn't the correct answer. Damn it. Oh, is it Pokemon Snap? I think that's my only good enough guess, because that's the only thing I can think of that might have come out on Switch as Pokemon recently.
So Pokemon Snap.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Correct answer, Jay.
Really? Well, I haven't seen that.
It's new Pokemon
either.
Snap, but we'll take it.
Wow, I actually can't believe I got that. That's kind of insane. But yeah, that's the only one I could think of that's
awesome.
On Switch.
I know some of these. So that's Gokaru.
Excuse me?
The little monkey, that's Gokaru, isn't it? And then this little one is...
Is that his name? Gokaru? That's definitely not how you say it. No, it's Grookey. What are you on about?
This one's Bubbly Flop.
Well, you were actually quite close with the monkey.
Was I?
Yeah, it's Grookey.
Mate, that was a complete get. This one is...
You actually got most of the letters right. You just missed out on E and a Y.
No.
I mean, you're actually pretty close.
What is it?
I think it's Beautifly.
Fucking hell. This one I do actually recognise, which is frustrating. The green one.
Oh yeah, that's one of the starter Pokemon from Gen 2.
Oh no way.
Yeah, on the gen that neither of us played. Well, we did play. We played Silver and
that.
Well, actually, I played Crystal, but even so. Sharpedo, okay. Yeah, close enough.
Sharpedo, all right, yeah, okay. That isn't a Pikachu, is it?
That is the baby version of Pikachu. I don't know if you knew there was one, but there is one.
I didn't know that.
It's called Pichu, just spelled Pichu. Pichu.
Wait, is there an evolution after Pikachu?
There is, Raichu.
Ah, yes.
And then there's also Alolan Raichu.
What's that?
Alolan Raichu is an electric psychic Pokemon that rides its tail like a surfboard. It is probably I prefer Alolan Raichu to normal Raichu, I should say that.
Okay.
It's basically the girly version of Raichu. You can look at this. Interesting. I'm actually curious if you know what any of these other Pokemon are. You must know what that one is. Yeah, this is
Thorpio.
No.
No, it's a
I'm actually trying to remember it myself. I think I remember what it was.
Nah, do you know what? No.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. I think it's Dodrio. Or Dodrio.
Yeah.
That's from Leaf Green.
And
what?
Go on.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah. What about the water Pokemon next to Sharpedo? You must know what that is.
That is...
Come on, it's like one of the main Pokemon in Leaf Green.
Flipping Crango.
It begins with L.
Leosa.
A.
Labradoria.
No, Lapras.
I didn't know that.
It's also in the Pokemon movie. Like Ash rides around on Lapras all the time.
I didn't know that.
And then I think that's Meganium.
That ain't related to Lapras, is it?
No, I think Meganium is a flower, which is obviously why it's got a flower. But I don't know if you know this, but the grass starter Pokemon, I think, are all based off of extinct animals and or dinosaurs. All the water Pokemon are based off of something, and all the fire Pokemon are based on something. I can't remember what. I'll have to come back to you on that.
Fair. All right, take us home, Jay. Take us back to the starting screen, please.
Okay, hang on. We're almost there. We're there.
All right, guys. Me and Jay are well into our bedtime now, so
just
without
about.
further ado,
Although
Jay,
I do go there slightly
like to. Oh, really?
Is there anything I'd like to say? Yeah. I'm very happy with where we are in gaming right now. I'm very excited. There's lot to look forward to. I will say my one hope is that you do play Tiny Tina to the fullest, and that we can enjoy it together. This will hopefully be the first Borderlands game that we can actually play together properly. So I think we played 2 together very briefly. We definitely played 1 together very briefly.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we can actually like in the modern day play a Borderlands game together and actually like do some decent stuff, you know.
We will, 100%.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can do some of the end game stuff and try to get some good loot. I want to try and get you some like good stuff, some good legendaries.
Do you know what, Jay? Do you know what? Part of the reason why I don't go for legendaries is because I don't feel like I reap the rewards. So you're right. Maybe if I get a few, I'll be like, oh, do you know what? This is probably worth it. And yeah, you can carry me along.
Also, there's a lot you have to learn in this new game, by the way. There's a lot of stuff, like a lot of new stuff that you kind of have to like rejig from Borderlands. I'll probably go more detail into next week. Actually, I'll try and collect some more info.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Because there's a lot more to talk about.
All right, no worries. Thank you, Jay, for this week. Glad we got normal show back. And if there's nothing else, we'll see everyone next week. Hopefully.
Lots to talk about next week. Here. More than likely, AC.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. Yeah. Oh, actually, that reminds me, Jay. If it's alright with you, I was gonna say Ragnarock for actually a mini special.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it.
Are you sure? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, perfect with that.
All right.
Because I probably won't have it done by next week anyway. I'm trying to get it done by next week. But...
yeah, it's true. It's true.
We'll see.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.